Welcome to the second episode of the Honeybee Knits podcast. My name is Melissa, and I'm really excited to have you join me for a discussion about knitting and all things fiber related. So we have a really jam-packed episode today. I have a lot of things to show, so we'll go ahead and get started. Today is Wednesday, May 3rd, and it's only been about 5 or 6 days since I uploaded the last podcast, but I've had some really great feedback and I have a lot of things to show you guys. So I want to start by doing a short introduction of myself. If you watched my last video, you saw that I had already recorded the podcast and then I accidentally deleted it. So I had to do it again. So in the first one that I accidentally deleted, I did do an introduction, and when I did the second one, I just forgot. So a lot of you were asking me to tell you a little bit more about myself. So like I said, in my previous podcast, I live in Springboro, Ohio, which is about 40 minutes outside of Cincinnati, and I live with my husband and our 3 cats and 2 dogs. My husband and I have been married for about 9 years, and we moved to Springboro about 4 years ago. I grew up in the Dayton and Columbus regions. My dad lives in Columbus, my mom lives in Dayton. And I've lived in Ohio my whole life. I have a day job with a local mortgage company to support my yarny habits. My husband is a computer engineer. So I mentioned I have 3 cats and 2 dogs, and if you're interested, I have my oldest cat's name is Mr. Butters, and I'll just see if I can insert some pictures somewhere in the podcast of them all, because we don't have kids, so these animals are basically our kids. So Mr. Butters I've had since I was 10, so he is 17 years old. So he's the oldest animal that I have. I have another cat named Prince, after the late Prince. We got him about a year after we got married. And then Coco is my 3rd cat, and we got Coco because Prince was mean, and we were told that he needed a friend. And at the time, Mr. Butters lived with my mom. So we got Coco to keep Prince company while we were at work and school. And then a few years later, when we moved into our house about 4 years ago, I had always wanted a dog, and my husband told me not until we get a house. So we volunteered with the Humane Society, and they had these 2 dogs that were from the same home. And they were trying to get them adopted out together, but they weren't having much success, just because, you know, it's hard to take in 2 dogs. Not everybody has the room and the resources to do that. And we fell in love with them, and I went the next day, after the project was over, I went the next day and adopted them. So I basically just told my husband that's what I was doing, and as much as he didn't want more animals, he fell in love with them too, and I'm so glad that I did, because I can't imagine our lives without them. Root Beer is, I think she's 12 years old, and she's just a mutt. We think she's mixed with some sort of shepherd, but she definitely has some boxer features to her. So Izzy's my baby, and she's 5 years old now. And she's a black lab, well, she's a Chesapeake, which is a miniature black lab. But we definitely think that she's mixed with something else. A lot of people that see her says that she has a pit bull face, or not a pit bull face, but pit bull features. So we think that she may be mixed with a pit bull, but she's the sweetest animal, the sweetest dog I've ever had or ever met in my entire life. She is just a cuddle bug. And she's definitely my dog. And Root Bear is more Jason's dog. And that was their names when we got them from the shelter. So I'm sorry if you're not an animal person. I apologize for going on and on about them. But if you are an animal person and you understand that animals do become a part of your family. So I've been knitting since I was about, I want to say 5 or 6 years old. My mom taught me, and I did a little bit when I was younger, and obviously as I got older, the desire to knit kind of went away until I was a teenager in high school. And we had a basketball coach that was also a knitter, and he started a knitting club. We were a small country high school. So anyway, so I said, I know how to knit. I have some free time, and I'm going to join this club, because at the time I was in all the clubs. And that kind of really brought back my passion. I started to learn how to make more than just scarves and dishcloths. And I moved on to making hats and gloves and not socks, but I made like these slipper things. And then I met my husband in high school, and I kind of, I was involved with him, and I was working, and I was going to school, and I was really busy with my junior and senior year of high school. So again, I stopped knitting. It wasn't until a few years later when I picked up a blanket that I hadn't worked on, that I started when I was dating my husband, but hadn't worked on in like 3 years, and I actually finished it. I don't know if you can see, but she's rubbing herself on my yarn. She is a yarn hound. She loves it. She comes up here and she rubs herself on my yarn about at least once a day. And that's why this yarn is up here, because this is the yarn that I don't mind her rubbing herself on. She hit the table and caused the iPad to go fly. So anyway, back to me beginning knitting. So my mom decided to start picking up knitting again, and she wanted to make a shawl. And she wanted us to make a shawl together, and it would be our first shawl. So we made this. And it is one of my more favorite projects that I've ever made, just because the yarn I used is the first real yarn that I got from a local yarn shop rather than from Joann's. I know this is 100%, I'm not sure what makes this, I know it's 100% wool, but I'm not sure what type, but I know this is 100% baby alpaca. So this is called the Fabergé, and it was the first shawl I've ever made, and it was beaded, and had eyelets. And I actually messed up the center decrease the first time I made it, but I had already finished it, and I didn't care, and I didn't know anything about blocking at the time, and it didn't look like this. It looked more of like a diamond shape, and as you can see, it can easily be a diamond shape. But so I actually ripped out about half of this eyelet section about a year and a half ago, and I reknit it. And this is, like I said, I love the square beads on this. This is definitely one of my favorite patterns I've ever made. However, it doesn't, I need to give it away because it doesn't fit me right. And I definitely want to make another one, a bigger one for myself. But the problem is that I want the exact yarn, and I want the exact beads, because I really loved this pattern. And so you start from the bottom and you knit all the ribbing and you work your way to the top, in case you hadn't realized. But anyway, yeah, so that's one of my favorite patterns that I've ever made. Knitting that shawl made me fall completely down the rabbit hole. I haven't stopped knitting since. I've had a few months where I've only knit a few things, or maybe one thing, and my knitting mojo kind of dies off, but that was part of the reason why I started spinning, because I wanted another outlet, creative outlet, for when I wasn't knitting, so that I kept myself busy. So knitting is an outlet for my anxiety, and it helps me to relieve stress, stay calm, and relax, which is because of the type of personality I am, can be hard for me to do sometimes. So that's a lot about me. So if you want to know anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask me. I did announce on Instagram that I am now at 500 Instagram followers, which is way exciting for me. I am so excited that many people have an interest in what I am doing. So I decided to put together a little package for you guys. And I said in my Instagram post that I would announce in my podcast on how to win. For the Instagram prize package, all you have to do is like the post and share it with the hashtag Honeybee Knits Podcast. And I'll make sure to disclose all that information on Instagram when the time comes, probably after I post this video. So what you'll be entering to win, first of all, is this skein of Lolo Did It sock. Awesome sock. And this is in the Ghostbusters colorway. This is her July 2016 Yarn of the Month Club colorway. And I did order this because I'm a fan of Ghostbusters, and at the time the new movie was coming out, and it's just not my colors. I would definitely knit it for somebody else. But it's been sitting in my stash for so long, and I have a lot of yarns that I do want to knit fairly soon, and I will not get to this in time, so I just kind of wanted to share the love on that. So the second item is just this little basic notions pouch. And it's got these cute little arrows on the inside. And I got this as a door prize on my yarn crawl that I went on this past summer. And then this third prize in that package is this owl bag by Molly Klein Design. And as I've stated before, I really love her bags. I love how flexible they are and smushy, and she's got this pretty flowery print on the inside. So I just wanted to give one of you guys a chance to try one of her bags so that you can see for yourself how great they are. So I've also got another prize package put together, and this one is because you guys are amazing, and in less than a week, I think last time I checked, I have 123 subscribers on YouTube in 5 days or 6 days or whatever, however long it's been. You guys are so amazing, and I am at a loss for words. I am so proud to be a part of this community. The comments I have been receiving, the encouragement has all been amazing, and I really want to thank you guys. So I put together another prize package for that. So the first item in this prize package is this skein of Desert Vista Dye Works, which I talked about on my last episode, and this is called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And this is on her Vizio base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and there's 462 yards per skein. And this is a self-striping colorway. I knit a pair of socks for her her third annual Desert Vista Dye Works sock club every month. I enjoy the feel of them on my feet. The colors are amazing. The way they knit up is amazing, and I just want to share that with you guys. So that's the first part of the prize. The second part of the prize is this needle keeper from Knitting I Love. And I know you guys have seen these flying around on other podcasts, and I had to have one of these. And I will be purchasing more because these are fantastic to use. And I happen to have this one, and I thought it would make, as much as I don't want to get rid of it, I thought it would make a great giveaway gift. So that's the second part of that prize. And the third part of that prize is this bag that I also purchased on the yarn crawl this past summer, and it's from Casey's Pockets to Go, and it's got these adorable little sheeps on it, and of course, like I said, I had to have it because of the polka dots. This is a fantastic bag. It's heavy duty, and it could fit probably, I would say, at least 2, if not 3 skeins of yarn. So, this will be the second prize package. By the time this video goes up, I will have started a Ravelry group, and I would love it if you guys came over and joined me. I'm going to put up just an introduce yourself thread just so that I can get to know you a little better. I would really love for you guys to come join me on that thread and tell me a little bit about yourselves. I really want to know more about the people that I'm talking to. And the whole reason for me starting this podcast wasn't just for me to share what I'm doing and what I'm into in that moment. It's for me to learn more about you guys and see what you guys are up to. So I am going to put an introductory thread, and then I'm also going to put another thread up for the prize giveaway. And Actually, you know what? No. For this first prize, I'll just pull from the introductory thread. So go in, introduce yourself, tell me where you're from, maybe tell me a little bit about how you got started knitting or anything that you like. It doesn't have to be fancy or extravagant. It could be just one sentence. I don't care. I just really, like I said, I just really want to get to know you guys. So I'm hoping to name that thread Honeybee Knits Podcast. But like I said, follow me on Instagram and I'll make sure to make all that information public, and I'll also put it down below in the show notes. So if for some reason that group name isn't available, it'll be down, the correct group name will be down in the show notes. And I'll also, if for some reason it's not available, I'll also throw it up at the end of this video, so you guys know where you can find me. So again, I just want to thank you guys. You guys are amazing. And this is just my way of giving back to the amazing community that keeps giving to me. I know that was a lot in the beginning, so we're going to go ahead and jump into finished objects. I finished my So Faded sweater. I'm really excited. This is the first sweater I've ever knit. And the pattern, it's by Andrea Mowry, and I thought I was in love with the Find Your Fade shawl. I am even more in love with the sweater. And, well, I'll get to that in a second. But, so this sweater is knit out of Lolo Did It yarns. And it's hard to see while I'm wearing the sweater, but I will be posting a photo in this video of the finished sweater. So, this last color that I used here is called Summer Nights by Lolo Did It. And I have got to have a full sweater just in this color. I ordered this color because, and my lighting's pretty good today, so it's showing pretty accurate. But I ordered this color because I needed something to tie into the rest of the sweater. And this is a crazy sweater. This is not how I envisioned it turning out. And I love it, and I will wear it. And it is my colors, but it wasn't the nice, elegant fade that I was looking for to begin with. So I have ordered... I'm sure you guys have seen all the kits flying around on Instagram, and I ordered one from Nicole of Hue Loco in the Prism colorway, and it's basically like cream bases with, and it's kind of like got like a rainbow fade going on. So I will be knitting another one of these in that. But for this one, like I said, this color is Summer Nights. This one is her Michael Jackson PYT colorway. This one right here is Breakfast Club. This up here that fades in is When Doves Cry, and this is Coal Miner's Daughter. And these two, when I first started out on this sweater, my intention was to use the leftovers from my Find Your Fade shawl to make this sweater. And what it turned out being was I knit with these two colors, so Coal Miner's Daughter and When Doves Cry, and I ended up using these two for my stash and ordered this one to finish it up. And I'm glad I did, because I would not have had enough to finish the sweater. That's my first finished object, and I'm really excited to have it done, and I knit it in about a week and a half. Had I had this color in my stash, it would have been done in less than a week. I was crazy about this. This is all I knit for about 5 days. I just knit on this. So then my second finished object is something you guys saw in the last podcast. I had a hoe. So now I have an FO. And these are the Kaleidoscope, Knit Picks Felici in the Kaleidoscope colorway. And then this is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering. And this is the Sour Apple colorway, the Vibrant Violet colorway, and the Razzleberry colorway. And this Razzleberry color is not showing up the color that it is in real life. It's just not. These two are pretty accurate. This is a little brighter, but this is, I don't know how to capture this color. Yeah, it's just not going to show up, but I love this. It's more like a, I don't want to say teal because it's not green. It's just more neon-y. I think of a neon blue. That's what it looks like. It's pretty. So these are for me. And I really love the way these contrasting heels, cuffs, and toes turned out. I will be doing that again. I've done contrasting heels before, but I've never done all three on the same sock. And especially with this wild of a sock, I'm glad I did it because I think it turned out really nice. And again, me and Molly knit the same socks, the same colorway last month, so we have our twinsy socks. My third and final finished object are these socks for my dad for Father's Day. And these are the Harley socks by Lolo Did It. And I think this is a Mr. Lolo original, so her husband dyed these. And I love the way these turned out. I was not expecting it to have this sort of self-striping micro stripe effect. So these turned out even better than I thought. He's gonna really love these, I know. And I was enabled by Amber of the Yarn Hoarder podcast to knit the 6x2 rib, and I'm glad that I did because I think it gave it a little extra. And also I'm still trying to find my dad's perfect sock recipe. Again, I thought that him and I needed 72 stitch socks, which turned out to not be the case, so we have a lot of baggy socks. So these ones are on 64 stitches, which seems small, but this extra ribbon gives it more space and it stretches a lot. And when you take these off, they look super, super tiny. But as you can tell on the sock blockers, they stretch out quite a bit because of the ribbing. So I'm not worried. I think these will fit him fine. And as always, every time I give him a pair of socks, I ask him how they fit and try to perfect that. So that's my last finished object for the week. So I don't have any works in progress as far as knitting goes. I just finished those socks yesterday, and I started some spinning, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I do have an old work in progress. In my last episode, I mentioned that I took part in the 12 days of casting on, and I cast on 12 projects that I have yet to finish. I finished a few of them, but my goal is to try to work through at least one of those projects every 2 months. So last month I finished my Doodler shawl, which I believe was project number 3 that I finished of the 12. So this month, not this month because I have a lot of cast on plans, which I'll get to, but between this month and next month, I plan to pull this one out of hibernation. And this is another Stephen West pattern, and it is, got the pattern in here, the ever so popular, actually I don't think this one was as popular, but this is Color Craving by Stephen West. Hopefully I'm not giving anything away there. But, yeah, so when I first saw the shawl, I did not like it. I didn't like the colors. I didn't like the shape. However, a friend of mine knit it, and she did knit it in the same colors that he had it in. But a friend of mine knit it. Hi, Elizabeth. I know you're watching. And I actually really love the way it was designed. And I think it's a really cool shawl that you can do a lot of different things with. So I decided to knit it out of some colors that more reflect me and my personality. And here they are. I don't know. Here we go. And these are Mad Tosh Light. And the blue is Button Jar Blue. The pink is Pop Rocks. And this kind of beige-ish color is Paper. And when I started it, my tastes have kind of toned down over the last year and a half. And like I said, I started this over a year ago. So when I started it, my main colors together were and I think that's the wrong side. Yeah, there we go. Was Pop Rocks and Button Jar Blue. And I think these look really cool together. But I'm thinking when I pick this back up, this is as far as I got. I'm not very far at all. But I think when I pick this back up, I'm actually going to put I don't know, probably these two together, and then bring this, and then bring this in as the accent color. Because I think it'll kind of tone it down a little bit, but it still has those wild colors that I like. So that's all I have to show you for the knitting whips this week. So over the next couple weeks, I will have a lot more cast-ons and whips to show you guys. So before I do want to have, I do have some spinning to show you guys, but I'm actually going to try to separate the knitting from the spinning, because I know that not all knitters spin and not all spinners knit. So that way you can fast forward to the parts that you want to watch if you're not interested in watching it all. So before I bring in the spinning, I do want to show you my planned projects, and you'll see there's kind of a theme for May. But I'll start with my hippos for Cinco. And these will be one of the pairs of socks I make this month. And this is in my hippos bag by Freckled Whimsy. And she's got these pretty little flowers. And then I mentioned last week I showed the drawstring bags from Freckled Whimsy. And so the next 3 bags that you see are all hers as well. And I will be using her bags for my socks this month. So this is Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Desert Vista Dye Works. This is one of her zombie colorways. Actually, it doesn't say it's a zombie colorway, but it has that speckly break in between the colors. So I'm assuming that it is similar to her zombie colorways. And that's in my watermelon bag. And then this is I'm craving color lately. So again, Freckled Whimsy bag. This is Nomadic Yarns in the I Woke Up Like This colorway on her Spark sock base. And these colors. And the sparkle. I am obsessed with sparkle, in case you can't tell. But so these will be another pair of socks for me. And then I have one more pair of socks I plan on working on this month, or at least casting on. I don't know that I'll have all these finished because there aren't a lot of knit-alongs going on right now. And I plan on partaking in at least 2 of them, maybe 3. So, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But so in my coffee and donuts bag, these are, this is West Yorkshire Spinner's Signature 4-ply. And I think this is the blue tick colorway. It doesn't say on the tag, but I remember watching the Bakery Bears podcast, and they're the reason I purchased this colorway. And I'm pretty sure it's the blue tick colorway. And this is 75% wool, 25% nylon, 437 yards. And if you're not familiar with West Yorkshire spinners, they're similar to opal yarns, and that they're kind of a rougher yarn. They're not as soft, but it also makes it so that they're more durable. And these are actually going to be Father's Day socks for my stepdad. And he was at my house a few weeks ago helping my husband fix our furnace, which still not fixed, but good thing it's getting into spring and summertime. But anyway, so he was here helping my husband try to figure out what was wrong with our furnace. And he came up here to see how his shelf was. And I promise the shelf is not crooked. It is straight. I don't know what's wrong with this camera. For some reason, I can't get it level. So, I mean, it's obviously not the camera, it's me. But for some reason, I can't get the camera level, so it looks like it's crooked, and it's not, I promise. But anyway, so he came up here to see how his shelf looked up on the wall with all the yarn in it. And I had him pick out a few skeins of yarn for some socks for him, because I haven't knit him. I've knit him like I think it's called Nola's slipper pattern or something. It's on Ravelry. You can look it up on my Ravelry, in my Ravelry projects. So I've knit him slipper house socks, but I've never knit him socks before. And he's very knit worthy. I think he would love it. One of the reasons I don't really knit for my mom and my stepdad is because my mom's a knitter. And I know as a knitter myself, it's great to receive knitted items, but you do like to knit the pattern for yourself. So for me, I would almost rather receive yarn in a pattern than I would a knitted item. However, I am a knitter, so I know how much work goes into knitting items, so I do appreciate them, and I love to get them. But so I kind of feel that way for my mom too. So I will typically I'll knit her socks because she doesn't knit socks, and I will knit her mitts because I know that she loves mitts. Like fingerless mitts, and I'm sure she probably would make herself mitts. But I mean, she's a nurse, she works a lot, so she doesn't have a whole lot of knitting time. So I made her fingerless mitts before, and I will make her shawls, but I will only make her shawls that I know that she will like, but she may not necessarily want to spend the time making. So I do knit for my mom. I've knit a little bit for my stepdad, and I've knit a lot for my dad. So my goal this year is to knit more for my stepdad because he is just as knit-worthy as my mom and my dad are. And I just kind of want to show him my appreciation. So those will be socks for him. I think that leads us into my favorite part, which is acquisitions, and I have been a wool pig lately. So okay, so this is funny. So for my Find Your Fade sweater, I needed a size US 3.25 millimeter needle, and I knew I had one hanging around here. I have a lot of interchangeable sets, but I don't have a lot of single needles, and I knew that I had one interchangeable set from Diet Craft that comes with size 3 needles, but I didn't know where it was at the time, and I was on Jimmy Bean's Wool, and it was late at night, so I fell down the rabbit hole, and I was like, I'm just going to order the needles that I need. They didn't have the regular size in stock, so I got the short, I think they called them irregular, or I don't think they called them short, but maybe they did. I don't know. It was late. I don't know. But anyway, so this is what came in the mail, and I don't know if you can tell, but these are super tiny. Sorry, ignore my fingers. They get pretty, my hands get really beat up from knitting and spinning, so they're super tiny. And I don't know that I'll ever use them. I might throw them in like a giveaway package at some point. Who knows? I might actually end up needing them for something. But I tend to like the longer needles. I don't know. My hands feel really cramped when I have short needles, which is weird because I have short fingers. So you'd think that I would be able to use the short needles just fine, but it's not the case. So, and I apologize for crinkling. I didn't take these out of the bags. So I've had a few new acquisitions come in. I think I talked about the Cozy Knitter on my last podcast, but one of the things I really love about her is her, the way most of her colorways comes with a mini skein, and they're actually not many. I think they're like 20 grams. They're huge for heels, cuffs, and toes. So she had a shop update about a week and a half ago, and I have a whole list of her colorways that I want, but again, I limited myself to 2 during the shop update, and I got this one. This is Tequila Sunrise, and this is her Bliss base. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's a total of 115 grams. So actually this is a 30 gram mini, so it's 85 grams in the stripe, in the colorway, and then 30 grams in the mini, so you get a decent mini with this. And then this is her Hydrangea Bloom base, or colorway, in her Bliss base. And I have quite a few other colorways from her as well, but these are the ones that just came in this week, so I wanted to give you guys a peek at those. And you guys, I need to stay off Instagram. Okay, so let's just put it this way. My next few podcasts, my next few podcasts will not have a lack of acquisitions. However, I am not purchasing any more with the exception of the Hippo for Holidays colorways for a while because I went a little crazy these past couple weeks. And I mean, I stayed within my budget for the most part. I say that. I stayed within my March, April, May budget. So I maxed out until the end of May. Yeah. Anyway, we'll not go into that. I have been all over Instagram, and I have been seeing the So Faded kits, the Hohi Locatelli mystery wrap kits, the Lolo Did It Genesis wrap kits, or shawl kits, and I got sucked into everyone. Like I said, I ordered a So Faded sweater kit, even though I already have a So Faded sweater, and I'm almost positive that I will be knitting a So Faded sweater out of those colorways because they are amazing. There may be another pattern that catches my eye, so no guarantees that it'll be another So Faded sweater, but it's probably going to be a So Faded sweater. And then the Hohi Locatelli wrap. I wasn't going to do it because it did take 5 skeins of yarn, and I probably have 5 skeins. I have 5 skeins of yarn I could have put together for this. But I saw this on Sweet George's Instagram page, and I had to have it. So let me take these out one at a time. So this is their Tough Love sock base. And I have one skein of Sweet Georgia up there somewhere, but I've never knit with Sweet Georgia before. But I do love the way it feels, so I know that I'm going to love this. And I love these colors. Like I said, purple's my color. Pink is my color. This is right up my alley. So I think this was called their Point Gray set. But anyway, so this is Sweet Georgia yarns in the Anthem colorway. This is Birch. And this is Akia. A-C-A-I. I know it's like a type of berry, but I've never been able to say it right. Akia? I don't know. It's not Akia. But it's a beautiful colorway. And then Charcoal. And Glacier. So these are going to be my Hohi wrap. And I believe that knit along doesn't start until the 12th of May. I was hoping, I wasn't even sure when it started, to be honest. And I looked on Ravelry last night because I had finished my socks and I wanted to cast on a shawl or a wrap or something fun. And I wanted to cast this one. Then I went on Ravelry and found out the first clue hasn't even been released yet. So I'm excited to cast this on. This won't be cast on by the next podcast because, like I said, it doesn't start until the 12th, and most likely I'll be podcasting again next Wednesday or Thursday. All right, guys, so if you're here for the knitting content, that's all I have for you. If you're interested in spinning, I got stuff for you too. So since we're talking about acquisitions, I'll go ahead and start with that. So I found these this company on Etsy about 2 months ago, and I've already made 3 orders from. I've already made 3 purchases from them. So this is my most recent purchase, and you can't see it because it's out of frame, but I have another set of this. This is Nunoco, N-U-N-O-C-O, and the sun kind of went behind the clouds, so my lighting's gone, but this is their Rainbow Garden colorway. And I have, and this is 7 20-gram, not Rolags, but Rovings. And I have another one of these. I decided that I want a double of all of the colorways I have from them because I want to make bigger skeins. And then I also bought this Icarus colorway. I mean, how could you not? I bought 2 of these. I had to, and they're really great prices. I think this was like $10. And this is 100 grams, 23 micron merino, mulberry silk, and Firestar. And they're blended tops. But this is called Icarus. And then they also had these bat droppings, which are 50 gram, and they're unique bats made from remnant fibers. And I bought 2 of them. And these are the ones they sent me. And I'm glad I did it that way because you don't get to pick out the colors. And it looks, they kind of knew my color palette, I think, from my previous orders because I got this one. But then they gave me this green, which I never would have purchased on my own, but I really do love it with the gold. So this is going to be something fun, probably next St. Patty's Day. Anyway, so that's what I recently purchased from them. They also have other colorway gradient kits. And these were the ones I was talking about last week where I need to better my chain plying skills because they are gradient sets and I want them to stay gradient when I apply them. But I also have their Rockery, their Violets, and then their Sweet Williams colorways, and I have 2 of each of those. And maybe I'll show those. I'll show those when I actually get to spinning them up. But here is what I have, and I did take a video last night of me spinning, and I'll look at it. I didn't watch it, so if it's good enough quality, I'll add it to the end of this video so you guys can take a look at my wheel, which I love. But so last week I showed you a big braid that I had hand dyed, and I started spinning it last night, and this is how it's turning out, and I'm really happy with the way the colors are melding, and I think this is going to be an awesome looking 2-ply. So I pulled this off ignore that, that's some leftover roving from my last project on my starter, but so yeah. Oh, and this bobbin, like I said, I'm not exactly sure how many ounces this holds. You can look it up on their website. This is from a National Custom Spinworks wheel, and it's huge. This is their regular size bobbin. This is their jumbo bobbin. This thing is massive. I think the only thing I would ever need this for is if I was going to do a thick art yarn, which I really want to figure out how to do I've been working my way towards figuring out how to do a fingering. And right now I think I'm at about a DK. So this is pretty thin. I think it might turn into a fingering if I can stay pretty consistent. The problem I have is, like I said, I'm a relatively new spinner. And sometimes I make it too thin and it snaps on me. So if you're a spinner and you have any tips, feel free to put those in that introduction thread I was talking about. I would love any tips you have for me as a new spinner. I think that's all I have. I think that was a lot of information. I think this podcast, after I edit, will be shorter than the last one. Obviously I didn't go as long and I didn't have really any whips to show, so but I was so excited to get back with you guys after all the feedback that I've had, and I had a lot more to show. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all your support, your feedback, your comments. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, and if you want to enter in for that Instagram prize, go ahead. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at Honeybee Knits and on Ravelry as Melissa1308. And by the time this thread goes up, look for the Honeybee Knits podcast group located on Ravelry. Go ahead and introduce yourself. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye! and also so that I can, you know, put some more stuff about me in there. That sounds conceited. I'm not going to do that. So I would really love for you guys to come join me on that thread. Puppy dog. Where to go from here? And I remember thinking when I bought this that it was so mean because I'm an idiot and I thought that they killed the alpacas for their fur, which isn't the case at all. But anyway, so you know, that's, so it's by day I haven't, my husband and I have been married for about 4 years. No, 9 years. I think I should remember how long I've been married. Oh, it just goes by so fast. Anyway, start over, messed up. So seriously, let's start the shindig. I already said that. Cut. I've got a sweater, I've got a sweater, I've got a sweater, hey, 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 hey. Okay. I'm so glad that happened on the podcast. Hi, Izzy. Root beer. Stop it. And now Izzy's making me rub her butt. Okay, doggy. Oh.